What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of SV Cruiser. In this episode, we're going to be getting back into the SV. Okay, guys, well, what I'm going to do first here is it's time to take the bike and start dragging it out here so I can actually access it, bring all my tools out so I can begin working on the bike today. And show you guys a little bit more of what I found. So what I'm going to do now is set up this camera here and throw you guys into a time warp. Alright, so here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to have multiple camera angles. I've got my headband, which is up on my head, of course, and my phone over here, which would be doing the long shot and some of the hyperlapse. And I've also got, where'd it go? My body harness. Yes, my dork ass is going to be wearing a body harness, and that's going to show basically from my chest my view of the actual bike itself. Alright, I've already moved everything off to the side. Let's go ahead and stop the hyperlapse here and get you guys back out of that time warp. Wow! Alright, we are back out of time lapse. I'm gonna close that for now. I'm gonna plug up some tunage, listen to some music while I do some of this work. I'm not gonna be like doing straight through all the way. That's not what I'm gonna do, because that will probably bore you guys. Working on this is gonna be long and tedious. And my 6-foot self about to hit my own garage door. Alright, so what I've done is I've already disconnected my my battery tender, which is this right here. The seat needs to come up, which will be right here. I'm sorry if I'm making you guys sick with the camera moving as fast as it is, but you know, that's me, squirrel. Let's move the seat over here to the side. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys all the stuff that I discovered on the bike itself when I brought it back, and then like 3 days later I kind of started opening some panels and stuff, and I discovered more stuff that's been out of place. Now if you guys want to see all the stuff that is out of place, I can prove where everything has been. If you guys watch all the previous videos of me actually assembling the bike, you can see where all the stuff actually goes versus where things have been left from Case Motorsports, or the dealer, which I'm really not happy with still. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause the camera for a second. I'm going to take the bug. Hi, bye. No, where are you going? Where are you going? Squirrel. Okay. All right. I'm going to take the seat off. I'm going to take the tank. I'm going to raise it up and get it propped up, and I'm going to start pointing out some of the things that I see on the outside. In fact, let me go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll take the seat off and all that, and I'll show you what other stuff I discovered. Okay, this connection right here, this actually goes to the fuel pump itself. When I got the bike back, this was not completely connected. It was just like, you know, meh, put on there. It wasn't clipped into place so the power can get to the actual fuel pump. I went ahead and I crimped that together, and I made it clip so it'll actually turn on. Thing number 2 is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but these dents on the back side of my radiator, those were not there before. My spark plug wire, it was actually, believe it or not, it was cranked way back here. There's no point in that. This actually needs to be tucked way up under here on top of the engine, out of the way. Okay, also if I pull on this spark plug cap, I can feel it move. I can tell that it is not connected to that spark plug. So they got into here, clearly, with all this damage here. They got in there and never reconnected my damn spark plug, which I'm really frustrated with. All right, one more thing, or a couple other things on this side. All right, these wires here for the rectifier regulator, these were not exposed. I had them all tucked away. These wires were not exposed. In fact, these vacuum lines were these were okay. Now, it was these here. These are supposed to be behind this right here. Why are these out here like that? Huh? What's up with that? And why are these out here? This isn't supposed to be out. This isn't supposed to be visible. I should not be able to pull this out. Okay. These hoses here, these are for the drain, for the gas tank. There's a bracket for it, guys. A bracket right here. Okay. Why are they tucked back here on top of my exhaust pipe? What's the deal with that? You know? So I'll reroute that and fix it. So that's what I can find right now. You guys are familiar with the signal that it's throwing. So I just turned the power on. Let's see if you can see this. Yeah. All right. Red light on. And the bike should start. At least it's supposed to. So power, kill switch on. A very short cycle for the fuel pump. And then I get this FI code here. This one. And then I got the FI oil pressure light. All right. Now I don't know about the oil pressure system. I don't know what the deal is. But if I were to try to start this, no go. And it's telling me I have an oil issue. So why is it that when I gave it to the dealership that I get it back in this condition? See, that's my problem. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pause the camera and I'll bring you guys back when I have both of these panels, the seat removed and the tank in the upright position. Right off the bat, I took my seat off and then I found this just laying here. It was just like that, just freaking laying here. All right. Now, I also looked further up inside here, and my fuse block was tucked away, and it was pulled. It was pulled like halfway up inside here. I mean, it's hard to describe it, but it was like shoved way up in here, and then they just threw the seat on. As soon as I pulled the seat off, it popped back down, and then, I mean, that's pretty much where it's been since then. But this cap, let's see if you guys, yeah, hopefully you can see. This cap here, where my finger's at, this was left off. I don't know what that is. I've never messed with it before. All right, this sensor here, this goes inside here. And that gets mounted right here. At least it's supposed to. And it stays there. Unless it goes all the way to the bottom, technically. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the tip sensor. Or it goes inverted. Yeah, that's what it was. It was inverted. I'm sorry. That was my bad. But I'm gonna put that back where it was. So this is pretty close to how things were when I gave it to K's Motorsports. So all this part is back to normal. All this stuff, it's all back to normal. They really didn't mess with that. I'm gonna go ahead and prop this up, or at least find a good way to keep it upright. Now that I got the tank up, we've already covered the back section, and let's look up front. It appears as though the fuel line is okay. This was moved. Okay, you know how I know this is because this wire went through this rubber separator for the top of the engine. All right, so what that tells me is they jacked with the spark plug. So let's see if Hang on. Oh my god. They didn't even put it back on correctly. What kind of BS is that, man? Y'all saw it for me for the first time. I have not jacked with this in any way. It was like that. All I did was just move my finger underneath and pull it up. That tells me that both the spark plugs weren't even connected. But I mean, I guess since I'm in the area, I know the spark plugs are good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix what they didn't put it together. I'll lay this over like it's supposed to be. The separator. Put the spark plug cap through it. You run it down in the hole like it's supposed to be. And then you'll hear it, you know, clip into place. Okay. I mean, I can tug on it. It's not gonna go anywhere. Feels, man, that feels loose. Did they take my spark plugs out? Where's my socket for that? What'd I do with it? Look behind me. Let's see here. I wonder if they took my spark plugs out. No, it doesn't feel like it. Might as well take them out while I'm here anyway. So I'm not going to show you guys that on camera, but I will show you more here in just a second. Let me tear into it. So I took out the back cylinder spark plug. I haven't messed with it, and I don't know if you guys can see that. It's all black. Looks like the gap is still good. So that just tells me that it's probably burning rich. If it's white, it burns lean, which means it burns really hot. If it's black like this, it means getting extra fuel added to it, which means it's burning rich. So I'm gonna put that back in there. If I can get it to go and stay. All right, but anyway, that's what I found on the back spark plug. So that one seems to be okay. All right, I'm gonna have to reorganize this. This is the drain line from the tank itself. This also looks like a form of vacuum, but this wasn't even all the way on there. It was kind of like falling off. So let's tuck that back up inside here. This one, there's this one. Okay, that's your drain for the tank, and that's fully extended right now. And then there's this one here. It goes to the tank, but also probably for emissions. That also needs to be brought back here. And the tank is kind of high right now, but once it's lowered down, it's able to go back inside this bracket here. But it wraps around the back of the engine and inside of these. Excuse me. So we're gonna pop this off. I'm gonna pop this off. And we're going to adjust accordingly, like it's supposed to be. This is going to wrap around the front. Tuck that in there. And these are here, like this. Not exactly touching the exhaust, They do need to wrap around the engine, but they need to be like right there. That's how it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna crimp that together, and that'll never touch the exhaust. And this will always be clear. See, it goes around the back and right there. Not back inside that frame, which was ridiculous. Completely uncalled for. You should not be able to see these hoses whatsoever. I mean, these wires here, I gotta tuck them back up like they were supposed to be. But whenever the tank goes back down, that's when you hook up, you know, these two lines. See? So that's how that works. All right, let's take off the air box and let's see what we can find underneath it. After I just took this off, I noticed two things. This bracket right here, this was not tight at all. And then you'll see that the other one on the back, I mean, you probably can't see it with the camera, but I can literally probably just pull this box up because they didn't tighten both of the induction brackets. Because I shouldn't be able to do this. I haven't touched the front one. How, what gives, guys? They just like went, put it on here, put the stuff on, didn't tighten it, and then close it up and say, here you go. That's pretty much what I get. $218.05, just so you know. Keep that number in mind, guys. Keep that number in mind. I'm gonna start pulling this stuff off so I can take the box off. So I got that box completely off. I took off the box entirely. Since I've got it off, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and replace this part here, this sensor. I may replace this sensor. But by the time I'm done, I'm gonna have a whole new bike practically. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take some of the parts I know I can clean and work on those. What I'm also looking at here, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is my fuel line right here. All right, I don't know if you guys can see it. Fuel line from the gas tank comes from way over here, shoots all the way down, goes underneath, and it comes into this part of the intake. Well, the fuel goes through this fuel rail, and then it bridges over to the other side and into that fuel injector. Well, I have a fuel injector here and a fuel injector here. So they may be dirty, I don't know. But what I'm gonna do is I've got cleaners, and I'm gonna replace this hose. I'm gonna cut this off and put a new one on. I've got some fuel line I can replace here. But I need to go up to the store and get some small hose clamps so I can hold that in place. Also, while I'm here, I'm probably gonna clean all these out and get rid of the dirt and stuff. Kind of, you know, clean it up a little bit because it's looking pretty rough. But while I'm in the bike, I'm going to start cleaning things and getting stuff good to go. I'm also looking for grounded areas where, you know, it's possible exposed wire, if that's possible. I don't know if that's the deal here. My next step after I do that and clean this bulb here is I'm gonna actually take the radiator off. I'm gonna actually take this part off and actually lay it down to the front so I can access that spark plug right under there. So I'm gonna get to that spark plug. I know it's not connected, so I'm gonna address that. At the same time, I'm also going to I'll put the power onto the bike, and I'm gonna test my coils and run a volt test on those to see if they're actually performing the way they're supposed to via spec. So anyway, the cleaning continues. Alright guys, so now that I've gotten torn this far into it, before I do anything else, I actually plan on replacing the fuel line, this little bridge right here. And before I actually get into this, I'm going to go ahead and actually drain the tank so that I can actually take the tank off and start working with the fuel lines, because the fuel line here, well, there's the bridge, you got the rail, and you have the hose, right? I'm going to try to clean out this hose as much as I can. If not, I'm probably just going to go ahead and replace it. It's only like $10. But I do have little brushes that will get inside these little jets here and clean those. So if there's any fuel obstruction, well, there soon won't be. So let's go ahead and drain that tank. Alright guys, well that is going to be the end of this segment for today's episode of SV Cruiser. I've gotten as far as I wanted to go today. I discovered a lot of stuff that was wrong. I have fixed majority of the things that are wrong. Took the tank off, put it to the side. I need to buy some more parts. The fuel line, there was some crud that was on the inside, so I'm going to have to replace that one. I'm going to get into the actual spark plug and the stuff on the front of the engine. So I still have a little bit of work to do to ultimately figure out what is my culprit and why the bike won't run. So if you find anything in this video helpful or entertaining whatsoever, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you guys don't mind, hit that notification bell up in the top right hand corner of your screen, and I appreciate you guys watching another episode of SV Cruiser. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.